Hello hockey fans, and welcome back to another video. In less than 2 weeks' time, the world will not only be welcoming in a new year, but the dawn of a new decade. Over these past 10 years, the National Hockey League has seen a plethora of superstars take to the ice, especially between the pipes, where the league's best netminders have won a number of trophies and become household names thanks to their flashy glove saves, desperation stops, and athletic denials. Given that the 2010s have given us plenty of good goalies, let's highlight those who have used the last 10 years to become the best, as we take a look at the 10 best NHL goaltenders of the last decade. At number 10, Devan Dubnyk. Arguably the most surprising member of this list, Devan Dubnyk is a prime example of how good things come to those who wait. A former first-round draft pick by the Edmonton Oilers back in 2004, Devan Dubnyk didn't break into the league until the beginning of this past decade, but struggled to find any consistency in his game for his Canadian franchise, reaching the 20-win plateau just once in his 4 seasons with the team. After brief stints in Nashville and Arizona, Dubnyk found a more permanent residence with the Minnesota Wild in 2015, and took his game to the next level, posting at least 30 wins in each of his 4 full seasons in the state of hockey, as well as earning 3 All-Star appearances and a Bill Masterton trophy in 2015. Despite his slow start this decade, the Canadian netminder has posted a 235, 178 and 50 record in 485 regular season games, narrowly beating out future Hall of Famer Roberto Luongo for the 10th spot this decade. Not bad for a guy who won just 57 games in his first 4 seasons, is it folks? At number 9, Corey Crawford. A 2-time Stanley Cup champion in 2013 and 2015, and 2-time joint recipient of the William M. Jennings Trophy in the same years, Corey Crawford has lifted the greatest trophy in the hockey world more than most on this list. A former second-round draft pick by the Chicago Blackhawks in 2003, Corey Crawford took some time to develop his game in the minors before finally making the jump to the NHL. The patience shown by both him and the Blackhawks absolutely paid off, as Crawford finally broke into the league for his first full year during the 10-11 season, and has spent the entire decade with the Blackhawks. His 6 seasons with 30 wins or more has helped the 2-time All-Star post a 249, 148 and 51 record in 458 games, cementing himself as one of the best netminders to tend between the pipes this past decade. Sure, his numbers may have declined noticeably in the last few years, as the Blackhawks have gone through a retool of their roster, but I'm sure his 2 Stanley Cup rings will help him sleep a little bit better at night when things get rough. At number 8, Tuukka Rask. A former first-round draft pick by the Toronto Maple Leafs in 2005, Tuukka Rask has instead spent his entire career with Toronto's original 6 rival, the Boston Bruins, since joining the league full-time in 09-10. The Finnish netminder has had quite the decade for himself, both in the trophy department and in the league's history books, as his 5 30-win seasons and 253, 141 and 56 record in 465 games have led him to a Stanley Cup championship in 2011, a Vezina Trophy in 2014, an appearance at the All-Star Game in 2017, as well as the franchise record for the most games played and games won by a Boston Bruins goaltender. At just 32 years old, Rask is continuing to put up monster numbers, and is still considered one of the best goalies in the league, having taken the Bruins 1 win away from another Cup championship this past season. So there is no doubt that he will continue to add to his career totals and climb up the all-time list for at least the next half a decade. At number 7, Jonathan Quick. A 5-time 30-win netminder these past 10 years, Jonathan Quick has earned a variety of accolades and helped put his Californian franchise into the hockey history books. The former third-round draft pick by the Los Angeles Kings in 2005 has spent his entire career in LA since joining the league full-time in 08-09, and has posted a 258, 186 and 56 record in 506 games this decade. Not only that, but the American goaltender has been named a 3-time All-Star, has won the Stanley Cup twice in 2012 and 2014, as well as winning the Conn Smythe Trophy in 2012 and the William M. Jennings Trophy twice in 2014 and 2017. As the Kings transition from consistent cup contender to rebuilding franchise, and with Quick's numbers taking a noticeable dip as he gets closer to his mid to late 30s, it's likely that the next decade won't see such success for Quick, so at least he made the most of his and his team's prime years of championship contention. At number 6, Sergei Bobrovsky. The only undrafted netminder to make this list, Sergei Bobrovsky is a great example of how hard work, determination, and a little bit of luck can get you to the top. Bobrovsky broke into the league with the Philadelphia Flyers during the 10-11 season, after 4 years in his native Russia, and wasted no time proving all of his doubters wrong and making every team that passed on him look like fools. The 31-year-old netminder has posted a 267, 162 and 41 record in 483 games, split between the Flyers, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and most recently the Florida Panthers, as well as being named an All-Star in 2017 and winning the Vezina Trophy twice in 2013 and 2017. Not bad for an undrafted goaltender, eh folks? He may not have got his hands on the Stanley Cup just yet, but with his strong play showing no signs of slowing down into the next decade, and with a strong Panthers team in front of him, I don't see why it wouldn't happen in any of the years to come. Whether it does or it doesn't, he's certainly forged himself quite the legacy already. At number 5, Braden Holtby. The youngest goaltender on this list, and the netminder to have played the least amount of games, yet sitting halfway up, Braden Holtby has really established himself as one of the league's top netminders. A former 4th-round draft pick by the Washington Capitals in 2008, Holtby broke into the league full-time during the 12-13 season, several years after every other goaltender on this list, and has played his entire career with the Capitals. The Canadian goaltender has posted a 273, 112 and 44 record in 444 games, has notched 5 straight 30-win seasons, as well as being named a 4-time All-Star, winning the Vezina Trophy in 2016, the William M. Jennings Trophy in 2017, and a Stanley Cup Championship in 2018. Considering the catching up he has had to do, and the limited time he has had to do so, whilst also considering just how well he has played in that shorter time span, you could argue that Holtby has been the most efficient goaltender of the past decade. At only 30 years old, he already has a cup and a Vezina under his belt, and continues to play for a playoff frontrunner, so I don't think Holtby will mind being middle of this pack all that much. At number 4, Carey Price. A former 5th overall draft pick by the Montreal Canadiens in 2005, Carey Price has spent his entire career with the Habs, and has used this past decade to establish himself as one of the best goaltenders to have ever played for the league's oldest and most successful franchise. The Canadian goaltender has posted a 275, 187 and 53 record in 516 games, narrowly beating out Braden Holtby in the win column by just a pair of wins, although that could well change by the end of the year. Price has also been named a 6-time All-Star and won the Vezina Trophy, the William M. Jennings Trophy, the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Memorial Trophy, all in 2015. Not a bad haul for a year's worth of work. With 5 30-win seasons under his belt, the only thing Price is missing now is an all-important Stanley Cup championship, with his closest effort being a conference finals appearance in 2010 and 2014. Despite the Habs struggling to clinch a playoff berth these last few years, and Price not always living up to his previous numbers, he may not ever come any closer to finally clinching the cup. However, at only 32 years old, he has plenty of great hockey left in him, and if any of the cupless goalies on this list can do it, it's him. At number 3, Henrik Lundqvist. The only goaltender in NHL history to record 30 wins in each of his first 7 seasons, and one of the biggest late-round steals in the history of the draft, the King of New York has certainly entered the building. Lundqvist had already been on Broadway with the New York Rangers for 5 years by the time this decade began, and has used the past 10 years to garner all sorts of awards and records, as the Swedish goaltender posted a 279, 193 and 52 record in 538 games, along with 5 All-Star appearances and a Vezina Trophy in 2012. With 6 of his 11 30-win seasons coming this decade, Lundqvist also owns the New York Rangers franchise records for games played, wins, playoff wins and shutouts, as well as having the most wins ever by a European-born netminder and being the fastest to record 400 wins in NHL history. Similarly to Price, the only thing Hank is missing now is a Stanley Cup championship, with his closest encounter being a finals loss in 2014. With Lundqvist being the oldest netminder on this list at 37 years old, time is running out. Will he snatch a cup win before he's done? Probably not. But is he a future Hall of Famer who will go down as one of the most surprising superstars ever and one of the best to play his position? Absolutely. Penultimately, at number 2, Pekka Rinne. Another late-round draft selection who defied all the odds, Pekka Rinne has also shown that European netminders aren't to be underestimated. An 8th round pick by the Nashville Predators in 2004, Rinne has spent his entire career in the rock and roll capital of the world since breaking into the league full-time in 08-09. This decade though, Rinne has really turned some heads, as he has posted a 290, 160 and 64 record in 528 games, notched 7 30-win seasons, as well as being named an All-Star 3 times and winning the Vezina Trophy in 2018. Identical to Price and Lundqvist, Rinne is the 3rd straight goaltender on this list to have never won the Stanley Cup, with his closest chance coming in a finals loss in 2017. And also similar to Lundqvist, he is running out of time to lift the cup at 37 years old. However, given that he holds the Predators franchise record for wins and shutouts, and is the best Finnish-born goaltender in league history, Rinne has done pretty well for an 8th round pick. And finally, at number 1, MarcAndre Fleury. The only player to have posted over 300 wins this decade, MarcAndre Fleury is the undisputed best goaltender of the past decade. A former 1st overall pick by the Pittsburgh Penguins back in 2003, MarcAndre Fleury had seen regular NHL ice time for over 5 years before the decade began, and really turned up the heat once he found his footing in the best league in the world. Fleury has posted a 305, 151 and 47 record in 519 games, split between the Penguins and the Vegas Golden Knights, is a 4-time All-Star, and the only player on this list to have won 3 Stanley Cup championships, all with the Penguins, in 2009, 2016 and 2017. Despite Fleury's continued success and his incredible numbers, he is one of only 3 netminders on this list, and the only one in the top 5 to have never won the Vezina trophy, which just seems crazy to me. He's been consistently outstanding the entire decade, and is for sure a future Hall of Famer, but he couldn't get named the league's best goaltender once? Ah well, I'm sure he can use his 3 cup rings to wipe away the tears. And there you go. Those were the 10 best NHL goaltenders of the past decade. What do you guys think about this list? Was there anyone on this list that surprised you or where their position was? Also, what do you guys think about this style of video? Do you want me to take a look at the best forwards and defensemen of the decade too? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys think. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. A big thank you to Chris Gadsby, Connor B, Martin Tolness, Max Artis, Nat Marlowe, and Paul Malia, as well as a huge thank you to The Legacy for helping support this video via Patreon. If you too want to help support the channel a little bit further, and get a shout out at the end of every future video, make sure you head over to patreon.com/oddmanrush and become a patron today.